Explore new ways to tune into your music with Spotify Premium. Smart Shuffle adds recommendations into your playlists to show you new sounds. Or you can make music a shared experience when you host a jam, where you and your friends can add songs and listen in together. Tap the banner to learn more.
Want to spice up your listening? Smart Shuffle can weave in song recommendations for your playlists when you join Spotify Premium. Or start a jam, where you can invite your friends to create and add to shared playlists, all with unlimited repeats. Tap the banner to learn more.
Hello? How's everyone doing today? I'm going to attempt to learn how to use a new CAD program because I'm fortunate enough to have got a step file for a Potain tower crane. And I really want to make this so it is 3D printable. And maybe after all my hard work is done, put it onto one of the areas to download it with. It does have every option available when it comes to this model of Potain. So it's got all the various mass sections. It's got if it's mounted on the ground with just counterweight, whether it's, actually been embedded into the ground with concrete. So I've kind of played around with it a little bit before I started the stream. With any luck, I might be able to get this fully figured out so I can start exporting you know, like jib sections, mast sections, gluing gear, all that stuff, counter jib. So it'd be nice. That is the plan. This program seems pretty straightforward in all honesty, so might just jump right into it and see what it's like, because I really want to get to the whole exporting of sections so I can have printable tower crane, as I'm sure others in the future are going to want as well, because who does not want? Okay, so here is Shapr3D. I have the tower crane loaded into it, so I'm gonna see what I can do and potentially start isolating some of these pieces out here and start exporting them and being able to have this as a 3D printed model. I was just reading online that you can export out individual pieces of this by isolating it and then not including hidden items. So I guess we'll figure that out here soon, because I have not a clue what I'm doing. I've never ever used a CAD program like this. I've only ever really used things like Onshape. So I'm kind of thinking, like, how do you dissect some of these pieces to allow it to print properly? Hey, thanks for the AI viewers. Nobody cares. If you look at this, if I was to grab that piece, do you want to, like, print this separately? Would think that would be ideal. Otherwise, it's gonna look really freaking strange when you go and try to print it, because it's gonna have like that weird stepping layer lines. Oh. But yeah, so here's one part of the counter jib. Obviously, the last part of the counter jib with the wind sail, the various ballasts. So you can see that this one here is the 1100 kg one. This one here is a 3600 kg one. So if you're going to have 213 feet of jib, you would need all this counterweight installed. I think this is like a nail or a pin. Be more beneficial than having it print out like that. Again, more things to kind of learn and figure out. We got the hook block here and the shiv. We got the cab. We got the slewing assembly here. The trolley as well. Winch up at the top here, which does not have a pawl system, unfortunately, so that would have to be something designed. And I'm not quite there yet with my design. However, I think ideally, if I can just break these sections apart piece by piece, it should be a lot easier if I want to end up with having these as 3D printed models. Just don't know how you would print this so it would be structurally sound, because there's like a lot of triangles in here. So how do you break this apart properly? I think the first thing I'm gonna do though is take this jib piece here Give me that off to this side here. Jib piece here. Off to the side here. Little jib piece over. Shuffling it side to side. I can figure out how I would dissect this printing purposes. I mean, who doesn't like scale models, 3D printing? I just finished another scale model a couple hours ago. Bear LTM 1850. Pretty nice band. Okay, and so this is the final tip section, which would like to keep that probably as one piece, maybe. So got kind of all the boom sections here now. Trolley basket there. Sorry, that's the trolley basket. This is going to be the trolley winch motor here. That's what that is. Pendant connection for the counter jib and the jib itself. So I'm trying to figure out how to like rotate this nicely. And focused really on the one axis, so it kind of makes it a little bit of a pain in the ass. Especially because model's not rotated in the right axis, so it makes it a little bit more of a pain in the ass. Really don't like. So if I was to take the cab, that can be an individually printed piece. The electrical panel and catwalk. Okay. So that's an individual piece as well. So we can have that printed as a separate piece, I think. We take that off. So you can see this is actually to scale too. The actual Potain step file. You can see it's a 1.42 meter diameter, so that's actually what you climb into. We're just going to continue to dissect these pieces a little bit here and make them into easier 3D printed pieces. That slewing ring out. Seems okay. Not mad at it. The real question is, how will it look when you go to put it into Bamboo Labs? And then also, how do I convert this to 1/50th scale? Take the dimension, I guess, and divide it by 50, but I'm sure if I loaded this into the slicer right now, it's going to be like ridiculously big. How big's the dimensions of this? Yeah, 740 millimeters for that piece. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I'm gonna see how it exports though as an STL file. I'm trying to think of when it comes to these files here, these jib pieces, like how would you lay this out so it's not going to look absolutely ridiculous with the layer lines stepping like up here as it goes? Can't really print it on its side. You'd be able to take this piece out, break that into its own separate object, right? And I mean, it's not bad. I don't know about the slewing motor here, though. Like, is that even a piece that's worth exporting as an STL file? I mean, practicality, if you're looking for a true model, I guess so. But maybe
Can't get enough of your song in the moment?
we isolate this,
Indulge in the tracks you love over and over again.
export it.
Spotify Premium. Tune in to discover an ad-free music listening experience where you can play your favorites.
Of course, it wants to
tap the banner to learn
pay for it. I just want to use it for free. Go. Wait. Export it as an STL. Still wants me to pay for it using quality. Good STL. I'll go with 3MF. I mean, let's try with an STL for now. See how it looks. So we're gonna call this Potain cab. May as well make a new folder right away here too. Call Potain MDT 219 J8 CAD files. Oh, I think I did that wrong. You're supposed to oh no, I had to include hidden models off. Okay, perfect. So if I opened up Bamboo Slicer here, I just kind of want to see what it looks like inside the slicer, because I know it's going to be ridiculous to start. Yeah. As you can see, it's taken up the entire dimensions of it. So if I brought this down to quickly calculator this. So if I take 1894.56, divide that by 50, 37.89. Cool. So there is a very low resolution cab, which, in all honesty, I'm not mad about, because just for like rough work, right? Here to print out your cab. Be your cab. Beautiful. So that works. Why don't we go back and have a look at the jib section here. This one. I might actually end up paying for 1 month of it, just so I can have the higher resolution exports. I guess you could do not like export into files that one can use for free, or do you make everyone pay for everything? All right. We'll continue with another STL just for now, just so we can see it. We're gonna call this a first jib section. Pull that into the slicer. Let's just have a look at that. New. So, back to my calculator here. We have 1,219.6. We need to divide that by 50. That's still gonna be massive. Play on face. Scale. 4.9. If I were to print it like that, let's see what it looks like right now with the supports. That's gross. However, it is only 2 hours of printing time when it comes to just this one section. That's really not that bad. And in all honesty, I feel like that low quality rendering actually works out when it comes to putting Bamboo Studio like this. Okay, so we have all of our sections. Now we gotta figure out what they are. So these three all look to be the exact same. 5 BIM. 4, okay, but they are differently named. So that's good to know. Which means each one of these will have to be exported individually. Let's this one here, isolate that one like we did with the last one. Export it again. You'll have to do that. So they're going to call this jib number 2. Get that. This one here, and then we'll import this to be jib number 3. Oh shit. Didn't isolate it, so it's going to be the entire thing. Now let's do that. Okay. Jib number 3. Yes, we want to overwrite it. Thank you. Go to isolate again. Export this. This is going to be jib number 4. Jib number 5. This one. Jib number 6. This is also the transition piece, you can see. this one. Jib number 7. Import this one now. Jib number 8. I mean, with any luck, other people might want to have this model. Isolate. This is going to be jib number 9. I'm actually going to add transition into this in case you want to have not the 213-foot jib. I mean, why wouldn't you want to? Doesn't make sense to me. Wait. Export this one. Jib number 10. And then this one here. Isolate it. Let's call this jib for 11 tip section. And then let's take this part and we'll say jib tip. What the technical term for this is. Calls it nose, but we'll go jib nose. Okay. I mean, I'm going to delete all of these. And why? Continue moving. Here's the next thing I'm wondering about. All these little pieces here. Isolate the. So let's call this hook 2M. Sorry, it's called SMDM and shiv. So that's doing what it's supposed to do. I'm pretty happy with that. Think about a piece here connects that one there. So I'm going to actually isolate this one, and I'm going to call this these into separate folders. So let's call this connector parts. And this is going to be main jib to counter jib connection plate. Then I also need to no. Keep panning this. And on vertex on instead of like playing around with the origins as much as I Why are we all the way over here? Because I selected that piece and wouldn't know. Yeah, that looks to be how it works. All right, good to know. Good to know. Slowly figuring out this program as we grab all of our chip connection pieces here. I mean, I think I should focus on this. So let's get this piece out first. We're gonna back up, make a new folder again. I call this one counter jib. So this is counter jib number 1, I guess I'll call it. I mean, you don't really want these handrails to be printed when you do that, but at the same time, I think if I just export each individual for the time being, it's going to easier to take it apart later.
Can't get enough of your song in the moment? Download and indulge in the tracks you love over and over again with Spotify Premium. Tune in to discover an ad-free music listening experience where you can play your favorites in any order.
Select this.
To learn more.
Let's export this as counter jib number 2, and this is going to be counterweight. I want that. Select. That's why it's not. They're brackets. Send. Right. So now let's go this way. This is wind sail. Then, yes, we're going to want all of these pieces. Like this. So this is going to be handrails and Potain logo. Let's do these. Select this and export this. back up. We can still leave this in counterjib. Let's give this a new folder called counterweight. This will be counterweight 3600 kg. This one here. Or this one as counterweight 1100 kg. Cool. All right. So that's all that done. That one's done. We have the cab extracted out. It's going to be the next piece. So let's isolate that, export this back. This should be called masked sections. We're going to call this masked cab slewing ring. Slewing ring would not be the right term for it, because in theory this is the slewing ring here. Export this. Call this slewing ring base. Is handy being able to shape things like this and grab it out easily. As much as it's taking a little bit of time to learn how to use this program, just to like tear apart this step file, I do find it's a lot more intuitive and user-friendly. Swing motors. It's a power box for trying to think about process of elimination stuff here. Maybe I should actually start hiding all these pieces as I've exported them out. Oh, what I'm doing here. At least like some of these tighter quarter pieces. Hide you, and you, and you, and you. An easier way to hide all the selected. Okay, we can do it the manual way. We will get there. Okay. And I can say all of these jib pieces can be hidden as well. That. Hide all of these pieces. Well, go by the but so that just leaves us now, yeah, with just a couple of these cab components left. And then I think we have the entire crane exported as STL files, other than mass sections. So, ooh, we have done these ones as well. I exported out the hook block div. I've also done a cab. We've done slewing motors. That. Okay. Beautiful. Not too many pieces left to export out by the looks of things. We have done this one as well. Wait. They call it the twin link beam. I guess this portion of the cab would be next. Call this in section. Cab pieces. So this is cab, catwalk, and power. That isolation view again. Hide that piece. So that's where the cabin attaches to. Let's isolate this, export that. This is going to be a cab support beam. And so account for. Mind you, you're not going to need every single one of these pieces when you are building out the model, but I think it will be nice when it's all said and done. The winch, like, I don't know how I'm going to design the winch to actually have haul system. That's probably going to be the hardest part of redesigning this. Anyways, we need to hide this because that is now all said and done. So this is, isolate this and export this. This is going to be called cab guardrails. I don't really think that the ladder is going to be yeah. Select this now. And we'll export this as slewing ring ladder rails. Hide that now. Cool. I don't know if this bracket's going to be needed when you're 3D printing. But I mean, the purists might want it, so this, call this cab bracket lower near guardrails. Potain by Manitowoc. Potain, fine. Cool. And then lastly, this right here. This is electrical box mast. Hide that now too. So we've pretty much torn apart the entire top portion of the crane now. There's just, you know, a winch system here. Action plates. I feel like we go like this. Move all these over here. And those. Did not mean to do that. Take it back. Go over there. All right. You. 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 And you. Oh, let's move this one here. So there's the winch. Here is the guardrails that go on top of the cab, kind of beside the cab here. So if I take this now and keep right-clicking to go to export. So this is still cab pieces. I think I want this to be in cab pieces. This is going to be first jib catwalk above cab. Here's copy name. It's isolation again. That. Select all of these. Every single time. Keep right-clicking every single time to export it. hide that, hide that. Hide that. 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 So this piece right here is to hold the winch. It's like a very complex piece to 3D print. Be in a couple pieces. Be like that. I think that would work. Now, when we have this piece, it's going to be a little bit easier to break apart and print the way you want it. So this is the winch bracket. I'd. So many pieces to this one. All right. So here's our winch. I don't know how I would turn this into a functional part with a PAL system. This is just electrical drive here. So why don't we go like this? Folder here, winch pieces. So this is winch motor. Every single winch motor bracket. And then this is obviously this is the winch drum. And here. Isolate this, export this. This is part of the trolley directory. Trolley is, I guess. And we're gonna say trolley catwalk. This is trolley motor. Okay. That is the entire first part of the 3D model disassembled and put into STL files. So that's kind of handy. Which means if I was to on Shapr3D my other STL files, the 1 meter mass section. I don't want. Oh, look at me. Martin. So let's import this is going to be called 12 meter test. We'll upload that into Is it really only going to let me have one project at a time? Okay, well, how do I go back to... I would like to use my limited version, please. I don't want to pay for anything. Thank you very much. That's our pulley winch. Hey, how do I import into here now? Where did I just save that? I was a smart man. I'd remember where I saved that. All right. Here is 12 meter mass section. So obviously, when you're working with these, this is going to be something you really got to think about how you want to tear this apart for 3D printing. Because each one of these ladders is going to be a nightmare to print in and out of this. I guess the first thing to be would just to be like, pull this all apart. Because when we have the rest of the crane in here, back. An easier way just to unhide all. Keep clicking, just keep clicking. Clicking, 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 clicking. Ah. There is way too many pieces to this crane. Okay. We brought back all of our pieces. The assembly portions of this. Close you up. So let's start working on this mass section here. Also going to sort out one more crane. Ah, there's the base with the counterweight. Okay. For you. Come on. Come on. The export thing. Okay. Base section, add counterweight. Then we'll come into here. Import that in. Cool. All right. Hide that. We'll take this this mass section here. Shimmy it over this way and shimmy it over that way. So that way, when I go and unhide this one, that one, it's all going to be there. And then the idea behind this would be make this one solid block but hollow it out. That way you could actually fill it with ballast, so your tower crane could just stand on the desk or wherever you're putting it. Let's go ahead and hide that one again. Be the best way to tear this apart, I think. If I move you over, that should print new problems. Ladder cage over. That is not going to print very nice unless you do each individual piece. Because dollars at a description. So we have the ladder cage off to the side. That's going to print no problem. This should print okay. This is going to have to be torn apart to be able to print it properly. I don't even think we need these.
Explore new ways to tune into your music with Spotify Premium. Smart Shuffle adds
It is
recommendations
part
into your
of
playlists to show you new sounds. Or you can make music a
ladder
shared
cage,
experience
though,
when you
right?
host a jam, where you and your friends can add songs and listen in together. Tap the banner to learn more.
I think I'm going to have to break this down into separate parts so these can print individually. And then you just glue this bar in. Otherwise, it's going to look like absolute ass when you go and print it. And nobody wants a bad looking model to go to print. So higher 12-meter section. I mean, looking at this, that should print actually pretty nicely. think this is pretty much the exact same. Call that K447B2 panel. 447B2 panel. Okay, so it's just rotated. And glued into place, huh? Here. I mean, once this was all deconstructed, I think it's actually going to 3D print pretty easily. I actually think that's going to print really easy. Just all same piece. 447B2, 447B2, 447B2. Okay, that makes it super easy. It's one piece that you print 4 times, glue that together, and you have the entire mast section created for the tower crane. So with that being said, this will actually print out really nicely when you go to actually print it. Because you can lay all these pieces flat, it should have a little more strength in there, and you're not going to have those layer lines being an issue. So mast sections. Mast pieces. So this is going to be a 12 meter mast. And then if I come over to here, (44.7B2) platform. So those platforms are same too. Isolate that. 12 meter mast platform. Now it's just a matter of breaking the ladder down into proper pieces. I kind of feel like having these decorative pieces on the side will be nice to look at. We move those over onto that. Slate this now. So we're gonna call this 12 meter mast. What would they call those things? With side pieces. I don't know what to call that. Call it a cleat. So let's open the mast here. 12 12-meter mast. With cleats. Cool. Oh, let's now go to the ladder. Meter ladder. Ladder cage supports. Okay, cool. Like how you have to isolate every single time to export one piece. 12-meter ladder. All this. Mask connector, I guess. Bracket. Would like to be able to select this. The whole thing of it. I mean, for temporary pieces, whatever, right? Like, fucking go and just dip it out. Ladder cage. Okay, so that is all of the 12-meter math deconstructed, other than this one meter part here, which I'm not going to worry about. Just fuck it. Yeah, well, go up here, isolate, export. 1 meter ladder. Okay, so the entire 12-meter mast section has been torn apart and deconstructed for 3D printing purposes. So I feel like now we can pull out the base section here and start deconstructing this for, you know, 3D printing pleasure. Now to do this, it's got to be taken apart in a way that is going to provide strength when you 3D print this. So what is the best way to do that? That is the question. Because obviously all of these counterweight sections need to be grabbed. And we will just kind of move them out of place, similar to what we did when we started taking apart the mast. All of these ones out of place. Remember, we don't need to print or export both of them. I mean, I guess you could export an individual one if someone wanted to print out piece by piece. But I know if you're going to be 3D printing this crane, you're going to want to have this section hollowed out so you can put some actual ballast in it to prevent the thing from actually falling. Same thing with the actual counterweight itself. All right. So temporarily, let's take all of you again. Get you really out of the view here. And see how this comes apart. So that's handy. These pieces right here, we can print that for actual structural support when it comes to the tower crane, and put some holes into here. I almost wonder if it would be better to go into the sketch and put the holes in there right now, or to do that later. I think for sake of all this, we can just take it all apart, kind of move it as fit. That one, that one, that one. Again, same thing. Here. There. So these pieces I mean, if you printed it flat, it wouldn't be too terrible with supports. I mean, I guess it kind of would, but at the same time, it's not horrible. Trying to think. I mean, I know my printer will have no problem with these overhangs because I can just do the PLA and like a PETG or vice versa, because they don't adhere to each other. The overhangs will look crisp. I guess it's really not my problem when it comes to other people printing. Okay, this, however, prints as just one solid piece. That is going to be a nightmare if we were to export that like that. We need to figure out a way to tear this apart and make it simple. I mean, you could just take that and just kind of like cut it on a diagonal, because it's not going to be completely structural. It should be okay, because majority of stuff is going to be put into here for weights and holding.
Let your music taste shine with Premium. Host a jam with your friends and share your favorite songs with the entire squad without hearing ads.
All right.
You can also play your favorite albums in any order with repeats. Tap the banner to learn more.
Think about this.
Bring the beats with Premium.
The mask sections were nice because they just came apart, right? And this one's all locked together.
Or take total control of your listening with repeats. Experience music without limits. Tap the banner to learn more.
Okay. Break that into section. I mean, I guess that's a later problem to figure out how to cut this in the slicer for it to print properly. Or we can get rid of a few of these nonsense. Letting select. I mean, I just start exporting these and see how it looks in the slicer. See what kind of like a shit show it's gonna be with supports. That one here. Go to the mask sections. This is going to be counterweight bass. This is main bass. Pull that into the slicer. See how ridiculous it's going to be, and then do the conversion. Since this is an actual scale size crane. Back. Wait, bass. Main bass. Okay. So this is 25 to 2.3 mil. That into 1/50th scale. Okay. 5, we'll call it. Beautiful. Love it. Look at it. So cute. However, we're going to clearly want it that pace. It's gonna be a fucking shit show to print. Just see what it looks like. Three hours and a shitload of supports. Like, that's not even fucking pretty. 18 grams of support material. The model's only 6 grams of... Holy crap. Oh, are you messaging? What would be the best way to get that apart? I mean, yeah, like sliced it in half here. It was 16 grams of filament before. I don't think it's going to be much better, to be honest. $13 grams. We cut 3 grams of filament out. There's going to be a better way to do this. I will figure that out later. All right. Let's do these support brackets now. We need to export this. It's going to be called base bottom bracket. And these. And then we'll export this, and this is going to be base to main support. Let's pull those into the slicer and have a look. Alright, that's gonna be the end of the stream. I gotta go get my daughter, unfortunately. I will come back on maybe later today and continue tearing apart this file to continue working with this Potain. So the people that were here, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Why not lay it down? I'm sorry, Sob, I didn't see that until just now. Yeah, I could try laying it down. I will be back later and continue tearing this apart. Appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.